We just got a huge update on Black Ops 2 on the PlayStation 5. Now, when I first heard about this update, I thought it was just going to be another small patch that nobody would even notice. But after looking into the changes, jumping into some multiplayer games, I realized there are actually some pretty important differences. The biggest question is, did Activision actually make Black Ops 2 better? Today we're going over everything that changed, what actually matters, and whether this update is enough to keep BO2 alive on PlayStation. Let's get into it. It's honestly crazy that we're talking about Black Ops 2 updates in 2026. For years, most people thought Activision had completely moved on from these older Call of Duty games. Then out of nowhere, they brought Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 to modern PlayStation consoles. Ever since then, we've seen thousands of players jump back online. But the launch wasn't perfect. There were connection issues, host problems, XP exploits, and a handful of bugs that reminded everyone these games weren't completely ready. That's where yesterday's updates comes in. Let's go over every major change. Number 1, PlayStation 5 players are now prioritized as lobby hosts. Now that might not sound exciting at first, but if you ever played older Call of Duty games, you know how much the host matters. Since these games still rely heavily on peer-to-peer connection, whoever becomes host can have a huge impact on how the match feels. A better host can mean less lag, fewer disconnects, better hit registration, more consistent gameplay, and if you're on PS5, this should make multiplayer feel more stable overall. The second change focuses on host migration. If you played enough BO2, you've probably seen matches completely fall apart after the host leaves. Sometimes the game freezes, sometimes everyone disconnects, sometimes the lobby never even recovers. According to the update, Activision has added more protection against host migration exploits. So if these fixes work as intended, multiplayer should be much smoother. The third change is something competitive players immediately noticed. Controller dead zones have been adjusted. This is actually a pretty important change because aiming can completely change depending on how the dead zones are tuned. Many players wanted aiming to feel closer to the original like PS3 version, so if you notice your shots feeling a little smoother after the update, this is probably why. Patch notes are one thing, actually playing is another. After jumping into multiplayer, the first thing I noticed was matchmaking felt pretty normal, finding games was quick, connection quality felt solid, and hit detection seemed consistent. Now, that doesn't mean every single match is perfect. You're still playing an old game that's over a decade old. You're still relying on player hosted lobbies, but compared to where things were, it definitely feels like Activision is trying to improve the experience instead of just leaving these games untouched. That's a huge win for the community. One thing I really appreciate is that they're continuing to support these classic titles. Nobody expected Black Ops 2 to receive any updates in 2026, yet here we are. That tells me Activision is paying attention to the player feedback. Even though this update is good, there's still plenty I'd like to see improved. First, more protection against hackers and exploits. Classic Call of Duty games have always struggled with people abusing glitches. If Activision can keep cracking down on those, multiplayer will only get better. Second, I'd love to see the faster matchmaking during off-peak hours. Sometimes finding full lobbies can still take longer than expected. Third, I'd love continued balance updates if they're willing to do them, even though most people want BO2 preserved exactly how it was. Small quality of life improvements can make the game feel better without changing its identity. Here's why I think this update matters. Every update sends a message. It tells players Activision hasn't completely forgotten about these games. The more stable multiplayer becomes, the more likely people are going to keep playing. More players means faster matchmaking, more creators making content, more streams, more competition, and honestly, that's exactly what Black Ops 2 deserves. It's still one of the greatest multiplayer Call of Duty games ever made. Overall, I think this update is a step in the right direction. It's not a complete overhaul. It's not going to magically fix every issue overnight, but it does improve some of the biggest complaints players have had since the PS5 release. Now, I want to hear from you guys. Have you noticed a difference after the update? Do you think multiplayer feels better? Or are there still problems Activision needs to fix? Leave your thoughts down in the comments because I'm really curious what everyone else is experiencing. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and turn on notifications, because I'm going to be covering every Black Ops update, guides, rankings, and everything happening with the classic Call of Duty here on the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.